Alright, sorry about that. I had the doorbell rang. The weirdest thing happened to me on the way home today. I was on the train. Somebody left a violin on the train. Anyway, I managed to figure out who it belonged to and they just came and picked it up. That's my side on this story. Where did I leave off? So, I think I was talking about harvesting the honey. Frame foundations, they'll have honeycomb on it. Obviously, inside the honeycomb is the honey itself. I'll cut the caps off because they cover the honeycomb up with caps so their honey doesn't flow away. Harvest it, and that's pretty much mine. So once I harvest the honey, it's pretty much impossible to get all of the honey out of this. So what I'll do is I'll take these, and unless I read or get advice otherwise, I'll just take the supers, and or the honey supers, and I'll just put them back on here, and I guess the bees will clean them right up. Like they'll go in here and clean all of the honey right up, and then I'll store them for the winter. The winter, now that is an interesting topic. What'll happen after I harvest that, I'll take all of this stuff off. That'll get put back in storage, the queen excluder, all that stuff. And I'll just let them kind of hang out for the rest of the late summer, early fall. And as cold weather is approaching, I'll have to feed them. So I'll put the hive feeder back on again with some sugar water on. Get them nice and, I don't know, I don't think bees get fat. Anyway, I don't know, I'll just feed them. We'll see how that goes. I gotta read a little bit more on that. Feed them, put them, they'll be back in there. I'll put the lids back on, and you can get some insulation or something like that. You wrap the hive up, you leave them out there for the winter. As I said earlier, this is the bee pantry, commonly referred to as, but there'll be honey and nectar in there. That's their supply. That has to get them through the winter. I've been asked a lot of questions about how much honey I can actually expect and how much honey is in each. I don't know. I've heard conflicting numbers all over the place. Needless to say, when this hive is full of honey, like all of the boxes are full of honey, there is zero chance that you would ever be able to lift the whole thing. I think that these can weigh somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 pounds a piece, and there's 2 of them, so there's 140 pounds. The honey supers could weigh, I want to say, about 40 pounds. So there's another 80 pounds. So they're pretty heavy. Needless to say, they will have a bunch of honey in there. Bees, one of the common questions, how do they get through the winter? It's really cold here. So bees do not hibernate. They basically, they form a ball inside of the hive. At the center of the ball is the queen bee, and she is surrounded by worker bees all the way out. One thing I forgot to mention earlier on is that the vast majority of the hive consists of worker bees, one queen, a lot of workers, and several hundred drones. The drones only have one purpose, so you don't really need too many of them. It's mostly worker bees. But anyway, they'll surround the queen. I've read that at the center of that ball, it's about 30 degrees Celsius or 90-ish degrees Fahrenheit. So, and then towards the outside, it gets to be 7 or 8 degrees. Inside this, inside the hive, it'll stay well above zero, though. So how do they do that? Well, they flap their wings. So they flap their little wings pretty much all winter to generate heat, just like you would, if you're trying to stay warm, you run on the spot or whatever it is you do. And they'll generate that heat. Of course, that requires energy, or that burns energy. So that's where the honey comes in. They will spend the winter doing that and eating the honey for energy that they've created in their bee pantry. So in a lot of places they talk about how you got to make sure that they've got enough feed and enough honey to get through the winter. Cold winters mean that they will eat a lot more, but hopefully that gets them through. You'll definitely have bees die, and I mean, sounds like it's a pretty rough life. I mean, there's a reason why the queen needs to lay so many eggs. Those bees are getting picked off left, right, and center throughout the whole year, and when it's minus 40 out, I'm sure that they're not having a good time either. But anyway, they stay in there all winter. I've seen some videos, you know, they'll pop out on nice warm sunny days that we get in the middle of the winter. And I'm sure the winter we just had was pretty easy on the bees. You know, we had 15-degree weather in January and February, so that's not too bad, but it is entirely possible you could lose your colony in the winter, I guess, if it's really cold. Why don't I go over some of the basic tools that I've got. Let's see if this is this little tool. It's a frame grip. It's used to grab the frame, and the reason you would want that is because you don't want to be sticking your fingers inside of a beehive that has thousands of bees that are maybe a little bit defensive. They know they might have an idea as to what's coming. So you'll do that. You don't want to squish anyone, especially your queen bee. You squish your queen, you're not going to be very happy with yourself. This is a hive tool. It's used to pry things apart. The main reason you need a hive tool is because bees also, aside from producing beeswax and honey, which obviously comes from nectar, they also produce a substance called propolis. And propolis is kind of like crazy glue. And I understand they coat just about everything in this stuff. It helps to seal everything. It helps to get rid of foreign material or foreign substances so that it's not exposed to the inside of the hive. It's kind of like painting your house, I suppose, in a manner of speaking. But they produce that stuff, and everything will stick together, so you need your little hive tool to move things apart. I've got a little bee brush here. Everything's still intact, of course. So bees don't always go where you want them to go. In fact, I have a feeling they don't go where you want them to go a lot of the time. So you just use a nice little brush to move them out of the way without especially damaging their wings. That's definitely something you don't want to do. This is the smoker. This is the tool everyone thinks is the neatest. So really what you do, just one second. Really what you do is you put a little bit of wood in there, you get it kind of going, and you, I'm going to blow some smoke up. So you're supposed to smoke the bees, or you should smoke the bees every single time you open up the hive. The reason being, it calms them down and it'll drive them down into the hive. So let's say I'm going to check up on them, just lift it up, smoke them a little bit. They'll leave it a couple of minutes or a minute. They'll go down, and then you can check it, and so they won't be quite as defensive. I've read different stories on why this calms them. Some theories are that it has to do with forest fires, so they're trying to get away from the forest fire. They're preparing to have to get away from the forest fire, so they go down and gorge themselves on honey. We'll see. And then it masks the pheromones. They give off pheromones to alert the other bees that there's danger, and so then they get in a big frenzy and get ready to defend the hive. So that's the smoker. Of course, this is what everyone finds the most entertaining. This is just a bee veil. I've been asked if I'm going to wear a suit. To be totally honest, I don't have one. We'll see how that goes. They say just to wear light colors. It's dark out and the blinds are wide open. I wish people are having a heck of a laugh at this out there. Anyway, you just don't want them crawling in your ears or wherever they might go. I guess they're quite curious. Wear light colors and I should be okay. We'll find that out in a hell of a hurry, I guess. I've got a few more things coming online, but I haven't actually ordered a full-fledged suit. So I think that that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, just submit them. Maybe I'll do another quick video explaining a few other things. Once again, my disclaimer is I actually don't own a single bee yet, so everything I said, well, not everything, but some of what I said might not be 100% accurate, but we'll find out. It seems like from all the books and everything that I've read, there's one thing that beekeepers can agree on, is that they don't seem to agree on a whole lot. They seem to disagree on different methods, but we'll try it. It'll be a little bit of trial and error to see how that goes. The other questions I've got, is this allowed? There are no bylaws in the city of Calgary that state that you are not allowed to have bees. The one requirement is that you do have to register your hive with the provincial government. I will be doing that shortly. You have to get a premises identification number. Bees are considered livestock, and the province requires you to register the location that you have livestock on. So the house is now registered as having livestock. I think that that's pretty much it, like I said. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll post this on Facebook so that you guys can see and then verify if everything that I've said is absolutely accurate. Otherwise, hopefully tomorrow goes well. Oh, I have to drive to Scandia, Alberta to get these bees. For those of you who don't know where Scandia is, I'm not surprised. I looked it up on Google Maps. I think there's about 4 streets in the town. It's just south of Brooks. It'll take a couple hours to go out there and back to pick them up. So, hopefully this was helpful and informative, and we'll talk to everyone later.